music, and entertainment from around the world. Our programming is designed to keep you informed and entertained with a variety of content that will keep you engaged. Tune in to hear interviews with your favorite artists, exclusive live performances, and more. So sit back and relax as WKIT-DG Radio brings you the best in global radio entertainment.
Welcome everyone from all over the world. It's time to kick back and listen to our guests who will make you grab your phone and dial 60966300153 to receive a free psychic and tarot reading from the world's ultimate dynamic duo. Pyramid One World Radio Network presents Jamie Clark, a psychic, and Maggie Clark, a tarot expert, who help people find their paths and peace in an ever-changing world. Introducing Jamie Clark and Maggie Clark, two remarkable individuals who have dedicated their lives to helping people around the world find their paths and attain inner peace. With their unique gifts and expertise in psychic readings and tarot card interpretations respectively, Jamie and Maggie have them towards making informed decisions that align with their true selves. Together as a dynamic duo in the realm of spirituality and divination practices, Jamie Clark and Maggie Clark combine their talents to offer comprehensive guidance for those seeking answers or seeking solace. Their mission is not only to provide immediate clarity, but also to empower individuals to embrace their own innate wisdom so that they can forge ahead on their chosen paths with confidence. Whether you are at a crossroads in your life or simply seeking reassurance about your decisions or direction in life, Jamie Clark's psychic readings or Maggie Clark's tarot interpretations can be transformative experiences that lead you towards finding peace within yourself while navigating through life's uncertainties. Experience the profound impact of Jamie Clark's psychic gifts and Maggie Clark's tarot expertise as they guide you towards finding your true path and inner peace. In the grace of Jesus and his Father, we give you all a gift from the spiritual realm of our endless universe and the audience's hearts and minds connected to it. Welcome Jamie and Maggie Clark.
I love that sound, man. That's beautiful.
Oh, goodness, I love it.
Beautiful.
You know, sometimes it's like anything that I've ever done, especially music. And that all the music that I ever wrote was to the words. In other words, once I had the words, and my drummer used to write, stuff in that too. But once I actually I hear it by reading the words. I hear what's going on. That one that I wrote, I have lyrics here for the other song that I have, and I still haven't heard anything yet. But I mean, in this one, I turned around and I said, I must have went through. God, I was on YouTube. I went through about 200 or 300 songs.
Wow.
And I mean, I got to listen to it was all day. You got to listen to like 5 minutes of it and to really, really get into it, because every once in a while there's a curve in the middle of a song. I do it when I write music too. I'm right in the middle. It's like, ring, and you're somewhere else.
You can get that extra flavor, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah. But it was like, I mean, I had tears in my eyes when I was all done with the whole thing. It was like, oh my goodness, I did it again.
It's beautifully done. Nice words.
Yeah, but it was like it's just pure luck. You know what I mean? It's like I'm well. Let me not
Pure
put it.
luck at the equation that you didn't give up and you did it.
There's a certain love to what I'm doing. I want to impress on people about themselves. If that music and those words move someone, then I succeeded. See what makes me feel good? That makes me.
Yeah. And isn't it all of these different perspectives that bring us together that we can create a whole new world together? And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean everyone has to see everything the exact same way. It's like, do you and bring those people in that can help co-create, if we want to, a whole new reality. Because, a lot of people end up surviving and just existing. They don't live while they're here.
And that's another thing too. And I think you said it one time too, Maggie. Some people just don't live. They exist.
Yep.
They don't live. Living, and here we go again. Living is loving. You have to love what you're doing to live your life in love. Ta-da!
That's a big
It's back
thing.
and forward, but hey, that's the way. That's my definition anyway.
Well, and it's genuine. I always say, I love what I do and I do what I love. That
Thing,
stuff's real. Going, you don't feel like you're working. I'm like, freaking A. We're going on now 24 years, man. This
yeah,
is excellent. I love
yeah.
it. This is not only what I do, it's who I am. And so for us to just be us and help others and ourselves, freaking A.
That after the first of the year, it's 14 years.
Wow.
It's kind
God,
of
time
just
flies, huh?
it went so fast. You know what I mean? And people talk about death, and I keep saying, "Oh, I can see that door."
Who's knocking on it? Oh, what?
That knocking at my door. Yeah.
Door of
But
your consciousness, boy.
I mean, it's great, yeah, right. Well, no, you got to do it with a little flavor. Who that knocking at?
That's awesome. See, and that's a big thing when we can just allow ourselves to be us, put our own flavor, our own personality on it. That's how you get to have fun and stand out. People
Well,
just need to know it's okay to do that.
you know what? What I'm going to do is I think next time we do this, I think we're going to populate the screen a little bit. Let's get a little group going on here.
Cool.
I try to do it. There's a big hall down here. It's like a townhouse, a clubhouse kind of thing, and it's beautiful inside. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of tables and everything else. And I really wanted to bring something like this in there, and have all the people. You could have 400 people in there,
Nice.
and have all those people there, and then talk the way we are now. I mean, I can get up on the stage and put a nice table on there, and then we've got a 70 some odd whatever inch screen that I'll just plug this into.
Excellent.
So, I mean, we could do stuff like that. And they keep saying, well, I don't know about right now and whatever. I said, for crying out loud, man, get off your damn ass and do something. I mean, these things, but these people, look, I'm sorry, it blows my mind. I'm not that, let's face it, I'm not that old. You know what I mean?
You are youthful.
Not
Freaking
really.
A, man.
As soon as I get to 141, I'll tell you I'm old. But
That's awesome.
these people are like, they're into like, oh, well, it's Friday night. I got to play bingo. And I'm like, what?
Hmm.
I say, and we have a billiard room
Oh,
here
cool.
too.
Awesome.
I love hitting them balls, Something like, don't take that the wrong way. But I mean, but it's like, I like doing things like that. Nobody's in there. Nobody goes in there. I got nobody to play.
Yeah.
And I'm
Kinda
not
nice
going
when
to say the next thing. Whatever you were thinking about, I'm not going to say
They're not thinking nothing.
it.
But the good thing is at least you're giving yourself an opportunity to see different locations, to be in different places. A lot of people will get that cocoon around them and not really go anywhere and then expect to, hey, be happy. And it's like, yeah, it's not always that easy. In any way, if we can at least start by giving ourselves permission to do the best we can with where we're at and what we're aware of and keep going, it becomes a little bit more fun, a little bit more of an elevated experience, not just existing, but living. I always say, what's the meaning of life? To frickin' live. That's the point. Why we're here, man. Enjoy. Because half the fun's the journey getting there. We are those eternal beings. We never stop, ever. Right? That energy can only be changed, not created nor destroyed.
And you know what really drives me crazy, Ned? You get a show like this, and people can call in. They can text in. And so I have a special text just for people who could text in. So many people run around with their chiropractic appointments because their head is stuck up there, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I mean, you got all those things going, and they're looking at their phones all the time. So I figured, well, if you're looking at your phone all the time, texting all the time, text me, so they can text their questions in. So we have 3 totally different, ways of communicating with the show. But they're not now. They're watching TV because there's elections going on and all this other kind of stuff, and that's so everybody's watching who's what and whatever. I don't see anything to really look at anymore. In fact, I already know the winner. I mean, it's terrible. I'm worse than the Democrats. They make the winner, right? But I already know who's going to win.
Nice.
I mean, there's too many people sleeping. That's why it's going to win.
That's what they count on.
Yeah, the last time they were watching, all the national news places and everything else. The ones that begin with C, A, N, all those ones. Okay. They didn't say it. But on the other hand, you have all these people watching these things, and they're taking this in, they're taking this in, and then they go to work and they talk to their friends, and their friends say, oh, yeah, I saw the thing on TV, yeah. You know that if you tell somebody something 100 times, they will 100% believe what you said, even if it's wrong or a lie, because we're programmable. Our brains are like giant computers. The more you it's like, hey, how many times do I have to put a carrot at the end of a strip and have a mouse go get the carrot? One of these days, I'm not going to put a carrot there. What's the mouse going to do when I put him in the thing? He's going to go for the carrot, but it's not there. But it was there before. I mean, it's like that's how you do it to humans the same way.
Yeah, I try not to get too frustrated at the manipulation of humanity, but it's very prevalent, and there's a lot.
Don't forget, you were fringe on all this pop stuff. You know what I mean? And hippie, all this kind of stuff, and like, oh wow, man, all that kind of stuff. The Volkswagens with the peace signs and
yeah, oh yeah, heck yeah, man.
I was in it. I was part of that movement. I mean, I marched across the George Washington Bridge.
Cool. For
the Vietnam War because we were against it. I mean, and you're talking about a lot of people. You're talking about January 6th. Wow. George Washington Bridge. Every single lane from one end to the other, sideways and backwards, was filled with people. Wow. Now figure out how many people. They were afraid of the bridge having something, go or something on it because there was that much weight.
Wow.
In one spot at the same time. I mean, it was that big. That's the kind of things that we used to do. People don't do that anymore. They watch TV.
They get people segmented into their own reality. That way, nobody does anything but be in their own reality.
Or groups.
Yep. Yeah. That's the point. But look, it's that rippling effect that we can share things and it can be the productive. It doesn't always have to be the destructive. And when, like we are, just be sincere, be honest. If you're going to say it, mean it kind of thing. Of course, playfully and all that. But if you've got a communication aspect, have the integrity to do the best you can to communicate and talk with them, not just to them. Because most of us are being talked to rather than talked with. And we can have that because you've been doing this for most of your life, man. Not only standing there in front of thousands of people at one shot.
I was going to say, man, when you're a lead singer and you're talking to people, you're commanding maybe a couple of thousand people easily.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, and it's not that, so many people that say a lot of things about lead singers that go up and talk to people or anything like that. You've got whatever, you're not a nice person or whatever. The way I used to do was I was part of the group. I was not the lead singer. I wasn't a star of anything. I was part of them. And what I said many, many times were things that people really needed to hear. Not that they wanted to hear, but they needed to hear. And these are the things that, like, we go through maybe a half an hour from the end of one of our shows. It was about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, whatever. I mean, we hit 4 hours one time. I mean, it was so big a crowd, and then everybody was going crazy. Keep on playing. I'm having a good time. Are you having a good time? I'm having a good time. Yeah, okay. So with people in that, all together like that, about a half an hour, I guess, before the thing, people, you just couldn't. I mean, they had guards in front of us. They brought in guards to stand in front of us. That's how crazy they got. I mean, we whipped these people into something that got scary. I mean, it was like,
but look, see how easy it is to do that. A lot of people want to be on that journey with you without necessarily feeling like they have to work or they have to go through it. I just want to vibe it. I just want to experience it.
What made me feel good was that one person went out without a smile. Nobody beat up anybody. Nobody hurt anybody. Nobody shot anybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
And most of the people that were there, I mean, they weren't drugged or anything else. And I mean, it was like,
I was just going to go, yeah.
Oh, that you smelled. But you didn't hear the next day, when we get up, you wouldn't see something in a newspaper about, somebody rolling over a crowd or something like that. You didn't see that kind of stuff. I mean, it was very innocent at that time. But today, holy mackerel. God give us strength.
Yeah, you're putting your life on the line. Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I mean, it's like, it's getting out of control. And I mean, like, you may be 50, right?
I'm going to be 60 coming up in about a year and a half.
You're full of.
Yeah,
anyway,
just around the corner. Ain't nothing but a number.
Seriously, when you get to like 73, it's like,
Excellent.
You've been there, did that. You've seen it. You've heard it. You've taught it. You've learned it. All these things are already there, and I'm still learning, which is
That's
weird.
always.
We got people where I'm, what's is not here, but in the community that we live in. In that community, you got people that are 60, and they gave up already.
Oh,
you know what I mean? They're into they're walking around with a walker, and they do their bingo, and they take their dog out for a walk. I mean, they're so slow walking with the dog. The poor dog is going to look like he's got his knees clanging together. He wants to go where he's going to go. I mean, it's crazy. And I mean, let's face it, those people are 13 years behind me.
Isn't it interesting? Age is nothing but a number. How do you feel? How are we going to see life?
Your attitude. It's your attitude. And you've said it. You've said that on a show. And that it's whether or not you feel life is important.
Yes, you bring your own value to it. Yes.
Right. You bring your own value to it, and you make everybody be part of you in a way.
See, and when you can do that, you can be entertaining and informative. It doesn't have to be all the serious, crazy stuff. It's like, man, have fun, lighten it up. Life can get serious, but that's why they come to people who can present like you do. Go, I want to go back to yesteryear, because, like I do, how music can instantly teleport you back to yesteryear in a way to go, oh, yes, that speaks to my soul. And that's another reason why people really enjoy music, is it gives them an altered state of consciousness. A lot of times, not all the time, but when they can take themselves just by the vibrational patterns on the ear knobs, because that's all it is sound. But in this case, they're able to take that inner space astronaut journey. They're able to discover more of who they are without feeling like they have to work. They just are it. They just allow it. And that's huge, because a lot of us feel like we're having to be made to do everything. And it's like, well, that's something understandable, but maybe not everything is in that way being made to happen. And it's us who can choose that connection.
We got somebody on the phone.
Cool.
And I want to say, before I push that, the other button I got here.
Which button you pushing now? What the?
Oh, no. Oh, wait, I got, but I was thinking about when I was setting up the the show and everything. And I say, why didn't I use that? I was like, but I will. One of these days. Who's on the line? 623 area code.
Hi guys. This is Kyle.
Hey, Kyle. Good to talk with you, brother. What's going on?
Hey guys, how are you? I have a question. I just wanted to see if you guys could tap in. I have an offer to relocate to New Mexico for a job, and I was wondering what you guys were picking up from it.
As soon as you're saying that, again, no matter what, trust what you feel. I feel like it's got a good opportunity for you. You've got an expansion that you'll do that. And then after a certain amount of time, another door is going to open up for you as an opportunity. Doesn't mean you have to walk through it, but don't be surprised when it's offered to you. Because even though I know it might be in another country as we're perceiving it, it actually vibes in a really good way. What do you have, Mag?
Well, I was shuffling and the 10 of Pentacles just kind of flew out of the deck. So we're just going to go with one card today for you. And that is all about opportunities. It can be an amazing opportunity. It opens up a lot of new energy, new experiences. And then it also can be very abundant as well.
Yeah, it's a high-paying job, and they're offering relocation to pay for my relocation.
Ooh,
so
that's good.
Excellent. Yeah.
yeah. So if I feel good about it, I trust myself, and
Yes.
I feel like it's going to open up other doors, like how you were talking, Jamie. So
it will.
And the other card that just kind of popped out was the Chariot. So yeah, you're moving. You've already made your decision.
You're going
Have
already.
fun and congratulations. This is fantastic.
That's excellent. I feel like you'll be glad that
Thank
you
you
did
guys
make
so
this
much.
change. You got it, Kyle. Congrats,
I got
man.
a question for you. Though. That job isn't reconstructing UFOs, is it?
No, it's not.
those guys. I'm telling you, man. I heard those guys get the big bucks.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, they can't really say anything about how they do it, but yeah, there's some abundance there.
As long as it's not Area 51, you're safe.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Kyle,
guys.
you'll do great, man.
Yeah,
Good.
that's a
Have
great
fun.
opportunity.
Yes.
And, I feel like it's going to open up some doors just in general, not just with work, but some other doors, some other new experience.
Yep,
Like just
other
give you some
friendships.
fresh
Yep.
energy. It'll be fun.
Good. Keep us posted. Let us know what's going on.
I will. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Awesome.
too, Kyle.
Kyle. Beautiful. I love it. People are starting to open up to life. And when they can have these opportunities presented, and if it feels good, they choose it. It's like freaking A. Because, we've got it. For me, I always want to be practical. I want an outcome. If something feels a certain way, how's it playing out? I don't want to go, yeah, because you could feel all you want, but if you have no reference, what? I always want to be, to me, very practical so that we can fit this spiritual stuff into our lives without feeling like a nut job and an outsider. Like, what the? So it's whatever feels comfortable. But I'm seeing a lot of people over the past few months that are really kind of opening up even more to life opportunities. And then things like that are happening for some of them, where it's kind of funny, but it's the old adage, you got to move away to find yourself again.
Yeah.
Oh, like you.
Whoa. What I was gonna ask, really, do you guys ever get people that feel or that are least looser now after the COVID lockdowns?
What do you mean looser?
I get these people that were like they were wearing masks. They couldn't walk 6 feet behind somebody. It was 20 feet to this and all the rest of this baloney that was used during COVID, which was an actual training session to humanity. And I'd love to say to a person, but it's not. It was to humanity. They wanted to prove to themselves that we could be controlled. And we were. But the people now that snapped out of it and things, I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think they will slip back into it.
Some will, some won't.
Mag, you have to understand where I'm coming from on that. They've heard so much, learned so much, learned the right, learned the wrong, heard the right, heard the wrong. To this point, they're actually beginning to make up their own minds.
Some yes, some no. I guess when it actually, that were to actually happen, or a big event were to happen where there was some kind of control of a population again, would they present it in a new way that slightly alters it so that they just do what they did before? Or will they wake up and say, no, we're not going down that road? And do we have the choice? Would they make the choice? Because, during situations like that, a lot of like it's conform or do what? Lose your job potentially. I mean, the ramifications, like, and that's the thing, because you're weighing out what's more important to you, knowing that, oh yeah, I'm being controlled, or knowing, oh, I still need a job, so therefore I still have to do what they're telling me to do. So you have to kind of look at it like there won't be easy choices for some people. There can be choices that I wish I could choose this, but I'm not in a position to because I still have to feed my family. So there can be, like I said, some will, some won't, and some will put blinders right back on again. Hand me a set of rose-colored glasses and, I'll put them right back on, because it might be more comfortable for me to do that than to actually see what's really happening and what's true. So that's how it feels to me.
Yeah, it's all about presentation. I share the fact that I try not to get too irritated at the manipulation of humanity, not only on the conscious level, but on the subconscious level.
Right. That's the most important, because
it is. Because what were they saying for a while? Right. During that COVID, you must stay 6 feet apart. It's like, really, really 6 feet. Wait a minute. There's something else known for being 6 feet under. So in the back of people's, exactly, the back of their souls, they're like, what the flagnog? That's why in the beginning, just to me, it wasn't a country against a country. It's a virus against the world. Separate them, break them down, neutralize them, see the pushback. All right, you got a few riots, throw a few COVIDs in there. Beep.
Well, one of these days, Maggie, I want you to throw down a set of cards on the earth.
Oh, no.
On the earth.
Yeah. As a unified oneness.
Let me give you my why I would ask a question like that. We got 3 volcanoes around the world that are really, they're like 2 seconds from going bang. One of them happens to be by you guys, not by me. It's a biggie. It's a real. Like,
at least it'll be quick.
Yeah. Well, the dinosaurs felt it, so whatever. But that's that part of it. The other part of it is, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, in a very, very small digital part of time, we have three, not one, not two, but 3 wars developing. Now, what happened in World War II? Same thing. It was exactly the same thing. And we've got the same thing in the same areas. Isn't that weird?
Here's a big motivator and demotivator, depending on how it's presented.
Okay. Well, in one way, no matter what I ever hear coming from these things are unlike sometimes. I mean, you got World War II. I mean, I've listened to every video and every radio thing. Old radio was great. They actually told the truth. Ooh. but and at that time, they didn't blame anybody. They just stated fact. And the fact was, somebody was crazy and started something that really shouldn't have been started. And it got started, and that's, we ended one quickly. And the other one took a little bit longer. My father told me all about it because he was there. He was one of the guys that opened up the gas ovens and everything. Wow. All the people in them, and the Jews and everything else. He was a medic there. So
it's a heavy vibe, man.
I'm serious. I mean, it was unbelievable. And now in a way, we've got kind of sort of the same thing around the same areas on the same continent, put it that way. And now we have technology. That's a whole nut. Now we're throwing something in there. I mean, it's like throwing match into a can of gasoline. I'll give you a real good one. You can take a lit match and a gas of gasoline, right? If you're fast, right, you can take the match, go right down into the gasoline without the gasoline lighting. But if you hold it above, the fumes will ignite the gasoline. That's exactly what's going on in all of these wars. Somebody, and I'm not going to name names because there's just too many names to go for it, but there's all those people that are igniting the fumes, which is getting down to the real problem, the gasoline.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of stuff, somehow, some way in our lifetimes, this has to stop.
Yeah.
It's like having somebody on drugs. How do you stop somebody on drugs? Do you wean them over? Do you put them on drugs? Do you do this? About something like 40% of those people, it doesn't work. It just doesn't.
I
You know
think
what really works?
I think it's more like 85, 90%.
Yeah, but I'm saying the ones that like you could feed them all the pills and everything else you wanted to for a long time. That's the 40%. The ones that like it's like throwing a ball at a wall. It bounces off, comes back. Bounces off, comes back. You know, and that's the way that works. On the other hand, then you got the ones that just stop. Cold turkey. And do you know that like it's almost 100% were successful? And most of them are more attuned to their own lives, coupled to everyone around them.
Yeah.
Because they realize is that, hey, you know, the end was coming. Like I had there was a musician. I'm not going to give names or anything else, but he played for me in one of my bands. And he was a big guy on, oh boy, he could drink and do the whole 9 yards, you know. Like, here's a bowl of stuff. Try some. Yeah. It was whoa. And the poor guy woke up in Chicago, in the street, in between a car's wheel and the curb.
Oh, shoot.
I mean, he just out. Next morning, he woke up stuck in the road between the car and the curb. From that point on, this guy was totally dry. And as far as a musician was concerned, he was so spiritually, how to say it, creative, in a sense. He would come up with things that would, I got goosebumps in some of the things he come up with. I mean, Van Halen, forget about it. Van Halen was in kindergarten. This guy was in college.
Wow.
As far as what he could do with a guitar. And it was amazing, totally amazing. And he's still out. He makes great commercials for companies and all over the world.
Beautiful. And it's nice when you can have your own flavor and share it with others, and then they can enjoy the ride. They can go along with you. A lot of people want to take the adventure.
We have people that this show goes to all the time. And it's what we're saying. Can they relate to what we're saying? I mean, we're only talking about human things that real humans do.
You know, and there's something, you know, with addicts that's rock bottom. Like I've heard it lots of times from some of my friends, like, well, I had to hit rock bottom before I was actually ready, you know, but what does rock bottom teach you? And is that necessary? Instead of hitting rock bottom, could you get like super high, like just off of spirituality or something? Like why do people feel like it has to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse before it gets better? Is because there's a lack of self-love. There's a lack of attunement to the frequency of love and higher vibrations. And that is part of what does humanity attune themselves to? If you watch the news, you're attuned to that. If you watch XYZ, you're attuned to that. And it's good to be aware of what's happening, but then what do you do to attune to something different? You know, where's your heart? Do you attune to spirituality, love, meditation? Like
Music.
because what you put yourself in, what you focus on is creating a dynamic energetic field that is going to attract and magnetize. And if you have enough people on this planet focused on something positive, maybe something positive could happen. But right now, if you are, you know, following along the norm, like you said, everyone's watching their TV and playing bingo, then, you know, that's what they are. That's what they're in. What do they talk about? Bingo. They talk about what they watch, right? So they're in it all the time. So how do you step out of that? How do you say, I don't have to be a part of that. I don't have to actually take that in and ingest it and have to digest that in my energetic field every day. And it's a choice. That's a personal choice. And that's not easy because, again, we do like to know what's happening, what's going on. We like to be well informed, but what else are you doing to support your journey so that you don't have to necessarily vibrate that way? And it doesn't mean that we always have those choices all the time. However, I think we always have the choice to tune to love. That's just a decision. Do I choose to react in fear or focus on what I'm afraid of, or do I focus on something that I love, something that is happy, something that is uplifting? And if we discovered that we are powerful, and we are way more powerful than we've ever thought we were, we could know that those dynamic frequencies of energies can shift the consciousness of humanity. And I think that's why it's so intense right now. And there's so much, right? Like there's so much drama, there's so much war, there's so much devastation. And that is, that's there because until we let that go, until we learn to love more, until we vibrate at a higher frequency, that's going to be there. And it's going to have to take a lot of people doing this all at the same time to really shift the pattern, because it is, like you said, this is historical. It's a pattern. It repeats itself over and over and over again. Same place, same situation, same experiences. And it will keep repeating until it is broken. And those patterns don't break easily. And it will take people saying, okay, I'm going to tune in love. I'm going to tune into love, tune into a different vibration,
Well, from what I've learned through my life, love is a fixer.
100%.
And it's
Yes.
it is also something that you can be, wrapped up in a sense, you by soul, by spirit, however you want to put it. Love is the kind of thing that surrounds you like an armor, in a sense. You know what I mean? Because people who are in love and or going to be in love and or think they're in love, every single one of them contains that word, love. And that love, just said, is a high shot of energy. Just because you realize it. I mean, I've got people believe it. I mean, you've been in the music business as long as I have, or even in the radio business. You have no idea how many loves I get on this thing. You know what I mean? I didn't think this thing even worked, until one day I went, whoa. I love this. I love that. I love the other thing. You know what I mean? And I keep telling people, keep saying it. You don't have to say it to me, for crying out loud. Go say it to your dog.
Right. Feel it. Yes.
You know what I mean? You'll yeah, that's right. You'll feel it. If you love it, and like, hey, I could love a shirt. I could love my computer. I could love my car. You know what I mean? I could love my motorcycle. All these things that I could love. But every single one of them are connected.
And the versatility of love. It can be anything and everything.
Right.
That's the beauty of it. It's interesting, but I share the fact that it's been said for many years there's but one constant in the universe, and that is change. And I share that Chi, my master guide after many years, is like, well, Jamie, there could be a few other constants besides certainly change, which is, of course, a constant. But I believe that energy can either be created nor destroyed. So that's a constant. Love is a constant. This is a conscious universe. So consciousness is constant. Your soul's evolution is constant. I'm like, holy crap. And there are natural laws that exist in this universe that are constants. I'm like, oh, wow. Because for all of my life that I would hear that, I thought there was only one constant, which was change. Until for me, she pointed it out. Like, oh, I haven't even thought about it that way. Because a lot of the gearing on the presentation of news, which is a lovely channel aspect, but you only know what they share. And it usually only matters as long as it's in the news. Once it's out, it's out of the mass consciousness. So there's a perpetuated pattern. You can either bring it in or scare the stuff out of people. And mostly that second one is the most effective one to keep people on the ropes. Because if they're distracted by what they're having to deal with, they're going to be, I don't know what's going on. Holy cow. And then they're more receptive, potentially, to what's being shared or pushed on them.
And while we're talking about that, okay, and I got both of you guys here, you got a bunch of stuff coming up.
Quite a bit. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, let's hear about some of it. I mean, I keep looking at all your stuff and everything else. Then I go in, I listen to the videos and everything else, and like, oh man, I'm like a crazy guy. You know, it's like, hey, wow, man, I know that guy.
But we're having fun with it. And thanks. That's exactly it. And if we can be practical about this spiritual stuff and be able to connect with it, it's a little bit more effective to live in our own awareness, because it's been interesting for the computer aspect. The very technology that's bringing the world together is separating us.
That's right.
I share, like, the kids nowadays are standing in front of each other texting. My thing was, when I was a little younger, my boys were younger, I'm like, if they're in front of you, do not bring out that phone, and you talk with them, not just to them. And so basically they grew up in their own way. They heard dad all the time because they knew me for what I did. They didn't know anything differently. So it was really nice that I could do the best I can. I can only be dad. That's it. But when you can share some insight that might be different than the average person is saying, sometimes they don't know what to believe. Sometimes they don't know what to even question. So that's where the pliability comes in, where I just feel like humanity's manipulated. Because here's how easy it is. Here's who you're going to vote for. Oh, okay.
You know what gets me? The stuff that's in school, when these kids go all this bullying, social media, you know, on Twitter or whatever, or WhatsApp, or, I mean, people ask me all the time, oh, wow, you got to write me back. And on this one here, I said, oh, over my dead body. If you want to use
no.
if you want to text me, I have a separate number. You know, if WhatsApp and this and that and all these things and that, forget about it. There's no way I'm going to do that. But when we were kids, now we're talking about my generation. When we were kids, okay, there were no phones. And if you wanted to make a phone call, you had to take a quarter to a candy store and go put it in the phone, you know, to make a phone call.
Those pay phones? Yep.
That's right. And if somebody was really, really, really ticked off at you, they would come up to you and tell you they were pissed off at you. You know, I mean, that's just the way it was. And we had our bullies and everything else. One of them, I'm almost put in the grave one time, but yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, I was bullied a whole year in school till it was like the last, I guess, week and everything else. Our tests in school and everything else. I think it was, let me see, maybe it was 8th grade. I thought it was just before graduation. And this guy was like, I mean, all year. Him and his buddies, you know, his buddies would like follow him around like he was like the leader, you know. So the guy came up, and it just happened to be that where he did come up, because he was like a neighbor, like 2 or 3 week blocks over from where I lived. He came over, you know, by the garage and everything else, and then he grabs me, and he says, "I'm gonna beat you. I'm not gonna make it to a graduation or anything else." And that, at that point, my brain turned around and said, "Want to bet?" Okay, the guy didn't get off the ground for about 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes. Now my mother came outside. She was kind of crazy because she saw the whole thing happen. The guy's father came to the house. I'm telling you, it was kind of crazy. But I never beat anybody up in my life. Never, ever, never. But my father had sent me to boxing school. So I had some jiu-jitsu stuff in there and that in the back, you know. And it was like when this guy, once I saw a hand come up, that was it. The end was quick.
Yep.
You know, one of those kind of things like, hey, you can't aim. Pow, I can.
Yeah, right. Watch this. Neutral.
Exactly. And I mean, you see, that's the way we took care of things a long time ago. It was over right then and there. And in fact, the next year, that guy and I were friends all the way through high school. All the way through high school. And the rest of his friends and everything else didn't hang out with him anymore because he got the pants kicked off him. Right. But, you know, I mean, it was like we were good friends. We did projects together, the whole 9 yards. That's why I tell kids today, your phones ain't going to get you anywhere. It's not going to get you any friends. You tell me how many likes you got? Are you crazy? I said, how many likes? I said, do something for you, or do something with you, or go fishing with you, or whatever. Go to a basketball game with you. Go to a movie or something. How many likes do that for you? well, that's not it though. This is the way we do this. I said, no, 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 no. That's not the way humans do it. Maybe it's the way you do it, unless you're an alien. But you know, if you're not an alien, go have a life. Get a life now. I'm just realizing now, in the last maybe 10 years, how much I really had, but didn't realize I had.
Yeah.
What I'm telling these kids are learn now, because then the rest will be a ride like you never had before.
And that's the thing is appreciate now, because these will become the good old days. Hello. Do we
Yeah.
always have to go back to remember when? How about let's create it now and perpetuate that pattern, as long as it's a good one that we can enjoy. We don't have to survive. We can live together. But that's that separation and disconnection of a lot. Because I share the fact that it was really weird for a while. They had that GPS thing on the satellites where people, Pokemon, I think it was, where they were looking. We went up to a store area up by where we're at here, and it was weird. Almost everybody that was walking around was not looking at anyone. They didn't talk to anyone. It was just a weird freaking energy. And I was there going, okay, see ya. Thanks. No, thanks. Nope. But it's just like a neutralizer. It becomes such another reality that people don't even appreciate what's right around them or who. They just kind of separate.
Yeah, I think we should have a show that allows people to come in if they want to be humans.
Yeah. Yeah, huh? Because that is.
Oh yeah. We'll get them on the linguistic part.
That linguistic.
Hey, you want to be a human? Come on in.
Yeah. What'd you get
For
the reading? Did you?
Oh, for the earth, the reading
Yeah.
for the earth. The focus was the Six of Cups, which is all about peace and harmony, emotional peace and harmony. The energy to use was the Five of Swords, which is overcoming fear and shifting and changing your thought patterns. Let's see. What everything is going through right now is the Page of Wands, which means we need to kind of engage in different energetic experiences, and we need to be able to shift our thoughts to have new experiences, so our energy can be directed and focused in new ways that are a little bit more expansive. And then eventually it'll be the Eight of Cups, which is a time of rest and stillness, but that time is not now for the earth.
But also symbolically to me, the number 8 is from the top 0, the metaphysical, integrated with the bottom 0, which is the physical. And if you take that 8 and put it on its side, it becomes all infinity-like.
Infinity, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really this Eight of Cups is it's about emotional responsibility, like being responsible for how you feel. Instead of it, what do you want to say? How are you going to say things? How are you going to use your energy? I mean, people just fling things around like crazy, whether it's an insult or whether it's a fist or whether, it's like people will throw their energy around. And like you said, bullies have been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
You used to take care of it head on. Now, where's the bully? Is the bully media, right? Just feeding us stuff. So it's like, what do we need to do to harmonize our energy field? But honestly, the earth is going through this phase where, she has agreed to host humanity, as a celestial being. So here we are. And all she has to do is hiccup, right? A couple volcanoes here and here, a couple earthquakes there. All she does is hiccup, and then boom, all done, all over. We're distracted with something else, moving on. And so she's a different type of being, right? Time is different for her, like energy is different for her, but what she really wants is emotional peace and harmony. Like that is what the world needs. That's what the earth wants. The earth wants to be in right relationship with all creatures that dwell on her, in her, with her. And to do that, you have to open your heart. You have to be willing to feel. You have to be willing to exchange energy in a loving way. And that's really the focus. It's really what she's about,
The way I saw this is the earth itself, okay, feels energy. Bad energy or good energy. It all depends.
Mm-hmm.
If you feed it a bunch of bad energy, of course, just like any baby, it's going to throw up all over you. so forget about the thing with the earthquakes and the whole rest of the kind of stuff, and that it's upset, a little crazy. But on the other hand, think about the Earth itself this way. It's very young, and its energy was always positive. It came from a universe that we don't know where it came from in the universe. We don't know how it ever got put together. We've got theories, but who's to say that's exactly the way it was? What was here first, the moon or the Earth? Like when the sun was here, how come there's so many suns in this universe? You ever look at all the reports by all the scientists that there are other solar systems just like ours all over the universe?
In the Goldilocks stage, not too warm, not too cold, just right.
Yep. And out of all those things that are going on all over the place in all other universe and different solar areas and that in the universe, we are at a point now where the learning is hitting sort of the top of the pile, in a sense. Every single thing that's going on right now is the worst it's ever going to get. Because we've already had bad to the point where people were scared. The weapons we used were that bad that it scared us. Now they got a whole bunch more. And we've got, of course, ETs that know what we're going through, and they can turn off them little atom things. They can turn off anything from where they are.
Yes.
And they can stop it from being shot anywhere before we make complete fools out of ourselves.
Oh, they could shut you down. I share the fact that I had a good friend when I was younger who was in the military in one of those missile silos where you got to turn the key and push a button thing. There was a bright light that shone up over their area. Bip, everything shut down. They were sitting in a dark hole. There was no light. They couldn't do anything. The technology with a lot of our brothers and sisters is way beyond our comprehension. What if just a potential that the Earth was here first and the moon has been a created obstacle in order to view it? Because I believe they average that the moon never turns around completely. It's like, really, isn't that interesting?
It doesn't.
So, yeah, well, that's my point is.
It doesn't rotate. It doesn't rotate.
Yeah. So now we're starting to see.
My argument's been on that all the time. If it doesn't rotate, then there's no gravity, right? There's no gravity because it's not going anywhere. So then how come our guys can jump around on top of the moon? That's gravity.
And it stays around the planet. It doesn't fall and tether off wherever else. It stays around.
Yeah, so what's wrong with that picture? It's like, hey, if there's no gravity, then you're going to float away. But for some reason, somehow, the moon has some kind of gravity that's created. It's not natural because it's not turning.
Exactly. What if they just work on the electromagnetic fields? And that humans have that. That's why we have the gravity. And even though this world's round, the water's not sliding down the planet. It stays right where it is as we perceive it. And on average, the average person would perceive we're on top of the world. It's like, really? You sure about that? Is there a potential that we're in another location?
And another thing, Maggie, you've done stars before. All the stars, all the constellations, all the different stars, that they all have things that affect us.
Absolutely.
In our own way, and it's like, it's really, really cool. Like, who came up with that idea?
Yeah, well, everything is energy, right? And when you're looking at planets and solar systems and different stars, like, they're just huge energy, compared to a little teeny human,
Yeah.
So there you go. Just big energy sources. And right now, like, even astrologically, every single planet is in a water or an earth sign. So only feminine planets. So there's a little bit of imbalance even in the zodiacs of, where all the planetary energies in the zodiacs. I mean, Chiron's in Aries. That's about the only thing. And of course, Chiron's a wounded healer and Aries is the god of war. So hello, like, we are like,
I was just going to say.
Yeah, so there is that, but there is, when we look at astrology, it's like those planets influence so much. We ask, why is this stuff happening now? We'll just look at Pluto in its last final degrees of Capricorn until it goes back into Aquarius. You know, we can see that Pluto rules transformation and death and uncovering what's hidden and what's happening in the world. You know, it's the final throes of Capricorn, which is the tried and true in the patriarchy. And so everything gets to be shifted. Everything gets to be transformed. We can see this in astrology very, very clearly.
Uh-huh. Oops.
Click.
We're
Aw,
all there.
cool.
It's, I'm going to try this. Anonymous, you there? Hello. We see you. Do you have any questions? You sure you got no questions?
A silent observer. That's cool. Hey, and the good thing is look, you're giving an opportunity to communicate. It's their choice. If they don't want to, they're not going to. That's beautiful. You've given them a platform to possibly share or maybe gain some different perspectives.
Everybody today, I mean, you guys see a lot of people. I see a lot of people. There's so many questions out there. There's so many questions. I mean, there's no way. I mean, I could sit down with a bunch of people and try to answer some questions, but not really answer. I'm just more or less opening up. It's like opening up a book. You open up their minds to try to realize what's happening.
Yep.
Because you can't really answer a question that you don't know the real reason behind the question.
So sometimes
somebody has to have like an intuitive way behind in themselves to say, I don't know this, but here's the question. So the but part is another part of the question, but they don't always give you the back part of a question. They only give you part of the question.
Right.
And that drives me crazy.
I always say, the more that I know, the more I know. I don't know nothing, man, but I'll share my perspective.
I'm with you.
And when we can be sincere to go, we're always going to learn. We're always growth-seeking beings, no matter how many dreams, how many aspirations in life we have. Once we attain them, we got more. Half the fun's the journey getting there. And there are a lot of people who just don't find it. It's been a very interesting past 3 years because it has been a major exit point of people graduating, life dying as we perceive it. In the past 3 years, I'm like, holy cow, this is the tipping point of consciousness for this planet. That's why if you're supposed to be here, you're choosing to be here, and we're going to go through the changes. The other ones, bip, done.
You know what I see a lot, and I feel sorry for a lot of them. And down here in Florida, of course, is the actual retiring age, or when people really do that, is 55.
Oh wow, yeah.
And you go from that age and up, and there's people that are dying 50, 56, 57, 58, and I'm like, what the hell? I was like, this guy had was cutting the grass and he had a heart attack, and another guy did this and he did this. And all stupid, things that I couldn't even conceive, of being anything at that point. But there's a difference. It's in the generation. What's this? How would you say it? Generations after generations. There is like mine, and yours behind me. You're 20 years behind me, 20 something years, and the next one is like 20 or 30 years behind that. And each one of them have category, they have a way. They have a way about them that makes them different, but the same as their peers or people that are their ages. And it's really, really funny. It's that younger than mine are just cashing out at a very early age.
It's very interesting, and many different reasons.
Many different reasons. My age are going to 100 years old, 104, 105. I said, wait a minute. I don't know if I want to stick around that long. It's like, hey.
Isn't it interesting?
And the bad part is I know what's on the other side. It's like I'm not suicidal or anything else, but hey, I can't wait to get there. There is like, oh man, I'm telling you, it's the love just knocks you down.
Yes, and you just have to be you.
Yeah.
Holy moly. It's like, wow. Yep, I understand that.
There's no
Unless you've
there's no mean-
graduated, right?
Yeah. There's no mean stuff. There's no black stuff.
It's
And feeling,
love.
the feeling. I can sit right here and I'm very happy all day today. And I feel really, really good. The feeling on the other side is 100 times better than what I feel right now.
Yep. Just by being you.
It's weird.
So, yeah, isn't it? Is that too easy? Good.
Yeah, right. Yes, you got it right on. And people all the time and they'd say, "Oh, well, that guy, he's dead. When you're dead, you're gone." I said, "No, no, 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 no."
I
said,
have that happen a lot.
Energy don't die. I said, what he was, don't die. Now, doesn't mean he can't come back as a ghost if he feels like it. If he wants to, that's like he can do whatever he wants to. But
What if it's just the etheric dimension? What if there is no death? What if we're right now? Aren't we living on the other side of where we come from before here? And I mean, we must have died.
That's exactly true. The fact that this is a matrix that we live in isn't too far, isn't far fetched.
No. Very accurate.
Did you ever, I mean, how many times did people call it Groundhog Day? Like you've done something over and over again. Have you ever done something over and over again? I mean, I've done something, around a house or on a car or creating something or even when I'm writing something here.
If it's a good thing, yeah, I'm doing it again and again.
Yeah, but it's like you hit just that one. It's only a very, very small part of time, but you go, whoa, it's like, whoa, I did that before. Or I said that before, or I was here before. That's the biggest one. All those things just remind you that, like, hey, man, we are really, really, really cool people.
We had enough guts to be here. That's the point. That is
and
huge.
On that note, we're going to get out. Oh, wait a minute. There's one more thing. I have a question. They have, we're talking about, I'm going to ask you for something that, like, it's truly hypothetical. We are going to have a change in the next year. It's going to change a lot. I mean, one way or the other, it's either going to be a bad change or a good change. Which one would you think is coming? A good change or a bad change?
Both. I think we're going to see more of the extremes of both. So almost like if you were to imagine the good and bad coming together like magnets, what happens when the good gets so big and the bad gets so big, and then it grows and grows and starts going. Like, I feel like there's more power to both sides, and I feel like they're both going to get bigger and they're both going to get more explosive.
Okay.
Smart man. All right, good. That's perfect.
Okay. I mean, I'm serious. That's I'm really
It's going to get worse before it gets better.
I'm pretty close to her, but not exactly in that extent.
Right, but that's the dynamic. People don't know. If you put enough information and disinformation, they don't know what to. Whatever. I'll just stay here. And that neutralization is a big disempowerment.
In the Bible, it does talk about the good being over the evil. It takes over. Period. Like, forget it. You're out of here, boy. One of those kind of things. But in a sense, what you're saying is both are gonna coexist in the same time place.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fight to the death, right? I mean, you have powers that be that want everything to stay the same because they are in positions of power. And then you have the rest of humanity that is like, I'm done with it, And so it's literally like what happens there. There is an energetic shifting or battling per se between the powers that be that want it to stay the same, so they have the same influences, and then the powers that are growing in a different direction that say, no, we need this change across the world, So, people don't go down without a fight sometimes, and that's what humanity is experiencing, and we're seeing it all over the world. The world's reflecting this with the wars, with all kinds of things, and there's a battle. And so it's we're in that battle zone time frame, right? And for the old age to be destroyed, it has to crumble, and the new age has to kind of be born from that. But remember, death and birth are both painful. So, and that's what I wish I could sugarcoat this. I usually sugarcoat everything.
No.
But we are literally in a point of history of complete shifting of consciousness. And to do that, things have to die, things have to be born. Both are going to be painful.
Yeah, so like it.
Well, we get to decide, right? We get to decide, okay, I'm going to decide on love today, and I'll be a part of that movement that can expand consciously. And this is our responsibility. Each and every one of us has the responsibility to make that choice. And if you don't make the choice, you'll be swept away by the tides that come. So there's no more sitting on the fence. If you've been sitting on the fence waiting, don't wait. Choose love, choose something different, choose a vibration that can help you, that can help humanity. And it looks different for everyone because we all have different lives and different expressions of energy. But it is about choosing, and it is about being brave enough to choose, even though you might be going against the norm, or you might be feeling like it's overwhelming, because right now there is a lot of overwhelming negativity in this world. And love, like you said, is way more powerful.
Right.
So if you choose love, that can overcome the amount of negativity on the planet. I'm sure of it. That's why I'm here. That's why a lot of us have come here.
I tell you something. If I could afford it, I would do a show every morning for about 3 hours and impress people that love is something that's a good thing. I don't mean go out and grab some woman off a call for the hair and pull her in the house or whatever. No.
I wouldn't think that's love.
Hey, listen, that's how we got here.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Them cavemen were, hey, the DNA got spread all over the place. But in a sense, I mean, if you had a show where people could actually come in, and I want somebody to actually tell me why I feel the way I do. I mean, if it wasn't, you got to die once. And when you come back, you might have had an idea before you left. But when you come back, now you're certain.
Well, and that's the thing. I haven't had to die to have that experience. I just unify. But I will say almost everybody who does graduate dies, we perceive it, says the same thing. It's love. And I have a lot of clients that are doctors, and almost all of the doctors have said that when a patient codes and they bring them back, most of the time, the first words out of their mouth are, "Why'd you bring me back?" That was the first time I felt understood. I felt accepted, that I felt loved. And they just had to be them.
And I said that on this show, on a plenty of shows with you. I said the same thing. When I was there, I'm telling you, if my father, who died in 1961, if he didn't tell me that I had to go back because of the kids, and it wasn't my time to die. I had to go back.
But isn't that interesting? Your dad knew that? Hello? Isn't that kind of, it's not your time yet. And you're like,
Yep.
So apparently there are some aligning energies.
I had the other day, and I had a whole bunch of people laughing their heads off, because I told them, what had happened and everything. I was out for like, I don't know, 20, 30 days, whatever it was. And it was an induced coma because the head was split, and they put all kinds of things. They put all the surgeons and that with the blood back together. That's why I'm here. Wow. Anyway. Otherwise, if these guys weren't from Italy here, okay, these guys that do the little tiny things with the veins and everything else, if those guys weren't here, those were the guys that fixed me. They weren't American doctors. There were guys here that were learning our technology. So when I came in, they said, "No, we'll take this." So I was an experiment. Oh,
cool.
See,
you did it.
Yeah. So in the meantime, all the people that I was talking to, and I was telling them like the whole story of this thing. I mean, I finally woke up, and there was a bunch of doctors around my bed. And I was like wires all over the place and things down the throat, the whole 9 yards. All right. So I'm out of there with that thing down to, breathing the lungs and the whole thing. And that's how I'm out of there. So the one thing in that I did say to the nurse that was there that was fussing over me because I was fussing over myself, And by the way, when you wake up, I'm serious. I did anyway, 100%. That's how I woke up. It was like you turn a switch on a light. It was like I was out and then I was up. And this woman says to me, she goes, "Are you okay? You feel okay to talk?" I said, "Oh yeah, I got to go to the bathroom." It was like everybody was like their mouths were open. They were like, "Huh?" Like I got tubes all over the place. You can imagine, right?
I know.
Okay, but they said she turns around to me and she said, "But you can't walk." I broke so many things, and I have no metal in the whole body. I was glued back together by some kind of a thing that was made with human bone, and that they make this thing and it's like crazy glue.
Mm-hmm.
But it puts all the little cracks and everything else that back together. Anyway, I said to her, I said, "Look, just get out of my way. I want to go to the bathroom." So, okay. 2 nurses. I got one on one side, one on the other side. I literally walked to the bathroom.
Awesome.
And I did my thing and everything else. Then I came back and they said, well, please just lay down, take it easy enough for the day and everything. They thought I was like spent. I turned around, I said, and I'm starving. I could smell food. It was like,
That's
I am
excellent.
starving. I ate 3 breakfasts that morning.
How did they react when they were seeing you come back as strong?
People don't come back like that.
Yeah.
That's why everybody around here call me an alien anyway. But it's the craziest thing. That's love. That is real love. When you're sent back from a place that loves you more than you've ever, ever, ever felt it in your whole life. And then you come back and now you're in one piece. You're doing your thing and everything else. And by a miracle, you walk out and you go to the bathroom. Well, you have the breakfasts and everything else. And you've been having liquid lunch.
Yeah. Does that tell you how fortunate and blessed you are?
Exactly. So, you get to that point and then you do literally make it's a second life. And all of your clients will probably tell you exactly the same thing. Nothing is like it was before.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
different way of seeing. Yep.
And no matter what you do, you on this time around, no matter what you do, you always think first. You too.
Yes.
That's people calling after the show.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you do think about everything you do before you do it. Whereas before, you just do it.
Yeah.
See how people end, they
consciousness in there.
They just act. Now, as soon as you get that thought, the rest of the thought stops that thought and says, is it a good thing or a bad thing? And then sometimes it comes out to be a good thing.
And do you have enough guts to prove it to yourself? That's the thing is, what's the outcome? You could talk all you want, but I want to know there's an outcome to that. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of words. It's that communication.
And the other thing that you do think about, and I think I heard it in one of her woman videos.
Retreats, yeah.
When you do think, you think about the many, not the one. And the person that says it thinks about themselves reflected off the masses. So if you do that, then you're bringing, like if I was on stage, you're bringing those people into your house with you.
Yep.
And it's very, very easy to do. You just have to have the guts to go get up and say something. But we're good. And by the way, let me see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 requests for the show. So,
awesome. Next time, I hope they'll be able to come. And with the time change, we're now solidly aware of that. Because for me, I was like, oh, shoot, I forgot. So that was me. Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, anybody, anywhere, anything you want anybody to see while they're listening?
We're having fun just doing a lot of the scientific studies at the University of Arizona and coming along nicely. It's humanity down the road is going to be different. It's going to shift the consciousness of this entire planet.
Not by putting a chip in your brain.
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
That's
Well,
lovely, but it's just no.
yeah. The thing that I say to people all the time is we already got the chip. We already got it. It's called the brain.
Yeah, it is like a computer. Input, processing, output. Yep.
Right. Exactly. That's why if you put those things down in your head, you see all those little lines on that screen.
I will tell you, it was very interesting. The last thing is when I started getting more into this, I started taking turmeric and fermented cod liver oil. As soon as I started taking that for 3 days, 3 frickin' days, the whole time, it was like a computer board right at my heart. No matter what I did, it was there. It was green and it had golden lines for whatever the reason was. And I'm like, holy, I had no choice but to go. I don't understand why that happened, but it was 3 solid days. It wasn't here and then gone. It was, I had no choice. And no matter what way I was tilting in my mind sight, it was there completely, consistently, solid. So just to me, there's a lot of validity to that matrix and all that other kind of stuff. This is, it's moving along nicely. Remember, technology is going to shift consciousness.
And anybody that's listening to this video or watching this video, this is what you do. You write Bob Charles Show at live.com. You send me your questions. I will send them to Jamie. If there's something I can answer, I'll try, whatever. But if there's something that really, really needs technical expertise, I'll send it over to them.
Beautiful.
Maggie and Jamie will answer your questions if you ask them nicely and send them to Bob Charles. Don't give me anything. I saw that. Bob Charles Show at live.com. You can send them over to that, and we'll definitely take care of you.
Let's do this, man. It's good. We're all in this together. Good. All about the love, brother.
Yeah. Everybody listening to this show, here's something I got to leave in your mind. What you're listening to is a bunch of people talking about things that concern you, concern the world. We have brought out in these shows things that people don't hear all the time. You're not going to hear it on TV. You're not going to hear it on the radio. You're not going to hear it anywhere. You're only going to hear it here. Now, what are we going to do about that? Well, it's easy. You're going to listen to this radio. Plug it into your cell phone, plug it into your car, and listen to it on your way to work, on your way home to work, on lunch. Give it to your kids. Maybe they can learn something too. They can. There's plenty in there. On the other hand, you can always come back to the show, watch back Facebook, and watch and learn. And get this number, 609-663-0153. You call that number during the show, and we will talk to you. We will give you free readings. We will give you a purpose. How about that, huh? Meanwhile, love to everybody. God bless y'all. Bob Charles.